Oh, yeah, we are live. Yeah, buddy. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. What's up, people? This your man, Kevin Kev, in Power CoHort 18, along with my guy up here. We'll be right back right after this, y'all. Right after this. Every time I look at my intro, I be like, I need to be some audio dude or something.
Doing something different, right?
Doing something different, you know. Welcome, everybody. What's going on, everybody that's looking, everybody that's listening? Welcome to the Power CoHort 18 podcast. I'm your host, I'm your man, Kevin Kev, and this is where we amplify the voices of community health workers, credentialed, non-credentialed, and those who are doing work in the community and identify as a community health worker. Like I always say, Perri, the man that's selling watermelons down there at the corner, he doing a service for the community. So let me try to interview him one day, whenever he gets. But today, y'all, this evening, I got my man in the house. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Mr. Perri Johnson. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on? Perri Johnson, currently Dean of Students at Loyola Academy, all boys middle school. Well, elementary and middle school, all boys Catholic school, right in the heart of the city of St. Louis, just trying to make a difference there. Elementary and middle school, all boys Catholic school.
Yeah, buddy. Right okay. I got everything going over here.
Sound like you, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, trying to get this stuff together, man. Trying to get this together. So, for those who don't know, Mr. Perri is a retired police officer. Okay, and we're gonna get into, you know, his career. You know, get a deep dive, like I always say, a deep dive into the conversation as much as he wants, and we're gonna go through, you know, police and the things that he is doing in the community also. So were you a captain or a commander?
When I left, I was a captain, which is a commander. Anything in the white shirt is considered a commander. A lieutenant is considered a watch commander. A captain is considered a commander because you're commanding a district or an area.
Right. Okay. So one favor, man. We talked a little bit, you know, about your, not really your story, but your experiences, you know, with the police. Can you, you know, give the people a little something? Because everybody has their opinions, negative and positive, about, you know, police, everything. And, you know, my Uncle Jay, may he rest in peace, he was a, you know, police chief, sergeant, captain. He's been through all the ranks and everything. And, you know, once again, may he rest in peace. But, you know, sometimes I didn't like it. You know, he got on my nerves, you know, that's because I probably wanted to do what I wanted to do. So let the people know your experience and background.
My experience was always community-based, providing resources to the community, because I always felt that if you get the community the right resources, you can minimize the crime that's in that community. And sometimes that involves stepping outside of the boundaries of what police departments are doing. But I was also big time into accountability. I wasn't about just letting officers abuse the people that we're supposed to serve. And I always say, you know, in the city, they police, and in the county they patrol, and there's a difference there. And I always try to get officers to understand what that meant. You're not just out here going after people like the animals. You know, there are issues, there are things going on. Don't get me wrong. There are some people that need to be handled by the police and handled the correct way about the police. And that's what I was all about, but mainly about plugging resources into the community to minimize the negative effects on the community and to make sure that the police became allies and not authoritarian or enemies.
Right. Because I mean, you know, you look at and most people look at the news now and everything, how the police is doing this and doing that. You know, that may be you look at it and it's elsewhere, but you never know if it's going to be in your neighborhood. But then
Right.
there are some, and let's put this out there: there are some good, there are some bad, there are some people who do abuse power. You know, not
Yeah.
necessarily police, but I mean, what we see nowadays is, you know, the some of the police, you know, abusing authority of a certain color. We won't
Yeah.
mention, y'all know who, but even some, you know, I ran into a couple of black police officers that had to put me in check. You know, that's because they knew my mom. You know, they knew
Mhm.
my family. Back then, it was community, like you said,
Right.
right? So, you know, I do understand. You know, so with that, how long were you police?
27 years.
27 years.
Yeah,
Ooh.
27 years.
Did you ever did you ever go? Now most police when they do police they they usually went to the service or something like that. Did you ever?
Mhm. No, I never went to the service. I actually graduated college and then came home, started working, and went into the police department. I
What?
was like, I could have did this 4 years ago, you know. I was actually 26 when I went into the police department. I should have been in there when I was 21, you know. But you know, God has a way of time and everything, and I'm glad He did because the person I went to the academy with introduced me to my wife. So you know that time was perfect. Had I gone in earlier, I may not even be sitting here. Ain't no telling where I'd be at.
Wow. So that kind of did it kind of okay. Well, let me ask this. On Veterans Day, I had a young lady who I asked about her being in the armed forces. She was in the Army National Guard for about 10 plus years. Anyway, I
Mhm.
asked her, did that discipline her, or did you have that discipline? Did that help with, you know, maturing you as a young man?
I think me going to college and what I went through there helped mature me, you know, to be a young man. And when I got on the police department at 26, man, I was blessed to have some good partners. You know, and everybody wants to say, well, a good partner is somebody who has your back no matter what. But I had partners that stood up for people that look like us and didn't put up with nobody's nonsense, even within the walls of the police department. They didn't put up with nobody's nonsense. So they taught me how to be, you know, that person inside also. This just stands up for what's right, stands up for the little person. That's why I always developed the mindset of educating police officers and doing what's called changing that culture of policing to get them to understand that the people that you're out here dealing with are people also that have families, and they didn't ask for the conditions they're in. They want you to help them make it better. And if you can befriend those folks and gain their trust, then they're going to tell you everything you need to know to get at the bad people and get the people, because they want the people out of their neighborhood just like you do. They just don't want you to go the wrong way about it or misdirect your
Mhm.
anger or whatever it is you have going towards the wrong people. You got to be, you know, your badge has to have enough of a heartbeat to recognize that there are some good people out there and be willing to go through and recognize who those people are. If you can do that as a police officer, you can work in any community and that community will welcome you. But you know, you don't go in there with an iron fist.
Wow. And you've always, even before, and you probably answered this, even before, you know, going into policing, you always had that attitude of community.
Yeah, I have. Policing just gave me more opportunities to expand that. Um, you know, you grow up and you see people come from different walks of life, and you wonder how they make it, how they do things. Once I got into police work, I was also involved in the PAL League, which is Police Athletic League, which involved taking kids and giving them sports opportunities and taking them places and coaching them. And I coached a lot of kids, probably over 100 something, close to 200 kids throughout the PAL League, you know, that are now out there coaching. And we went on many journeys out of town and different places to play basketball. And I coached baseball and football year round. But basketball was the main thing I did with a bunch of kids, man, who are now adults in their own right. And that was that. Now, when you're doing that, now you're meeting people in the neighborhood. I can tell you, and I'm still in touch with my very first pal kids that I coached. They stayed out. The parents still stayed out on the north side, stay in touch with me. Those kids are now, pushing 30.
Wow.
With their own families. But those are my man. As long as I live, I never will forget Terrence and Terrell Davidson. Those are my guys, man. Those are my very first two pal kids. I remember when they came up to me, I think they were probably like 5 and 6, and we formed that bond. But I had that bond with their parents also, and their parents were really cool. And now they have their own children and they're coaching. And man, when you build bonds like that, and I had a group of kids that stuck with me. I stuck with those kids all the way till they were freshmen in high school. That was the last time I coached them in basketball, and I still have bonds with all those parents. And that's what's really cool, man. It's making those relationships.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that. And it's it used to be, back in the day where you knew the policeman, the alderman, the city officials or what have you, and you also knew Miss Johnson down the street. If say for instance, like I said, my Uncle Jay, when I got in trouble, my Uncle Jay, they would call him, whether he was on duty or off duty, to come get me. And I have to say I've gotten out a lot of situations that I should have probably, still there for a little bit longer than I was at the time. But it was community. It's community.
Yeah.
Everybody knew everybody. The village took care of each other. Such and such little grandchild busting out windows or something. Hey, they going to get him. They gonna take him to it before they take him to jail. They gonna take him to his grandmama first.
Yep.
And if
go to
she
Big Mama's house.
Yeah, they take him to Big Mama's house, and if she say take him to jail, then he going.
Yep.
Oh man, I miss them days. That's a whole nother conversation. Me and my wife was talking.
As time evolved, man, you try to keep those structures in place that help to build character and help to build people and kids. I can remember, just like you said, calling people's parents. I can remember, as a police officer, when I catch kids, we call their parents up. Hey, here he is down here. And send him home. So, that kind of stuff. You start invoking, parental guidelines and things like that because you knew that's what kids needed that worked. And the further away we got from that, the more problematic it has become out in society for how these young people conduct themselves. Now that I'm in the school, I'm able to do some of those same things. I handle discipline, so that involves calling parents up and letting them know what this kid did. Hey, here's what he did. And I always tell my parents in the beginning. So I handle discipline, I handle admissions. That means I meet the parents on the front end, to try to get my school. And so one of the number one things that I talk about is our parental relationship. We have to have a relationship. We have to be on the same page. And for everything that we're providing for your son, if we call up, the only thing we want to hear, is what did he do? Because everybody on our end is for him to succeed. And we're not going to call you unless he did something. So when we call you, I don't want to hear, well, y'all messing with my baby. No, nope. Because if I hear that, it's time for you and your baby to go. Because I got a whole line of folks is trying to get in here when I tell them and when people understand exactly what it is that we do for kids. It's amazing what we're able to do for kids. So number one, you should be ultimately thankful. And like I said, when we call, what did he do? Do I need to come up there? All that kind of stuff. If you that kind of parent, then we good. We're going to send your baby down a path that you can't.
Right. And before we get into the schooling and everything, I want to back up just a taste. You were saying something about the. I remember you and Brother Ryan had a thing going. He's a CHW, of course. So you did some CH. You being community and all of that. neighborhood cop and everything. You did some community work with CHWs.
Yep, yep. You know, one of the things I used to love to do was, like I said, try to figure out resources. What did community need? And one of the biggest problems, and I'm curious to know if it's even solved by now, was that the cause of people needing the police starts somewhere. It don't
Right.
start with a crime. You know, it starts with other things that lead to a crime. And if we can put people and measures in place to identify that and address it, then guess what you can do? You can reduce the need for police action. And if you can reduce the need for police action, not to the point where you don't need police, but to the point of where you allow police the latitude to do other positive community things. You know, if they're not running from call to call to call to call to call, then they got time to stop and talk with Miss Johnson or Miss So and So or Uncle So and So down there on the corner. They got time to stop and do that, and that's the kind of stuff that you encourage. So what we did was we went and saw a program called Cops and Clinicians, and it was basically putting social workers into police cars and taking them on particular calls so that they could handle that call without it becoming a police matter. Now, the key to it all, and this is where St. Louis is unique, is that we started talking about social workers, but social workers weren't it, because you get a lot of social workers that are not connected to a community, and they can't walk, down Natural Bridge and speak to nobody. They can't walk down East Fair, West Florissant, Vanderbilt. They can't. 20th and John, around the water tower and say hi to nobody. Nobody look at them like, who are you and why you here? So, that was kind of like, I don't want to bring anybody in here under any false presumptions that they're going to come in and save the world. And I don't need anybody coming in with a savior complex either. So I forgot, man. I forgot who I met Ryan through, but I met Ryan, man, and me and Ryan, we didn't butt heads, but we both recognized we were both alpha males, and which meant, he had a way of doing things, I had a way of doing things, but we were able to figure out that we could coincide and work together because we were trying to get to the same goal. And so that's when he introduced me to CHWs, community health workers, and said, hey, man, here are people that we're training that are in the communities, that have connections in the communities, that have access to resources. And, so now my antennas are up. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, dude. Now you talking my language. What can we do? And so we sat down, and I had gone to New Haven, Connecticut, and saw this program called Cops and Clinicians. I came back and I shared it with Ryan. I'm like, look, dude, can we make this work? Here's what this is. He was like, man, that's cool there. And we started putting it together, and we had data. We did pilots and stuff like that. And so it actually started to work. Right. And my big thought was that, okay, there's over 120, 30, maybe even 40 now, plus CHW citywide. Yeah. So if with our city being broken down into districts, if I can do it in my districts with the CHWs that are there, then we can expand this citywide, and imagine the effect that would have on community resources, relationships, policing, togetherness, all those types of things. Imagine that effect that it would have. And so that's what we were working on. We were trying to build. And I've often had people tell me that I was before my time, because I always felt alone. I always felt by myself that nobody understood what I was doing, outside of Ryan and the few people that he surrounded himself with, because they were community based. But nobody else truly understood what I was doing and could take it or leave it one day or the next. And so as we progressed, things started happening, and some not pertaining to the program, but just pertaining to where I was, some negative things started to happen. And the good Lord saw fit to remove me out of there and take me out of there. And as far as I know, the program crashed and burned. It never facilitated into what it could and should have been. And it's sad because it could have helped so many people. I mean, so many people. So yeah, that's kind of how that went.
So like now, do you think, and this was years ago, but now do you think something like that would be very valuable right now with CHWs? And it's more CHWs now than it was when you guys did that pilot. You know, of course,
right.
I am CHW myself, and plenty more people. But do you think that it would be valuable now?
Here, let me put it to you like this. Think of it like this.
Okay.
As a CHW, you recognize need, right?
Gotcha.
And so you need a vehicle to get to that need. And so if through police departments, I'm providing you that vehicle to get to that need. All right. So that's just one avenue. All right. So let me tell you how broad my thought pattern was at the time. All right. Community touch points. Where do people intersect with community? Okay. Think about that for a minute. Not just where, but how many people intersect with community on a day-to-day basis, right?
Right.
And I started thinking about, okay, I start with police departments. Then I work my way to fire departments. Then I work my way to EMS. Then I work my way to sheriff's department. Then I work my way to the courts. Then I work my way, say, circuit attorney's office. That's 5 touch points right there. Right there. Okay. And those are city government, right?
Right.
What about those that aren't city government? That you go, the businesses that you can get, that you partner with and get the buy-in. Clear Gas, Ameren, you name it, all those, Chaffetz Arena, all those places that intersect with the community, and you get them to offer the community something, but you also help them identify community in need. And so now you got, let's say you got 7 or 8 touch points that you're filtering CHW's resources and CHW know-how and people through to reach community. Now you tell me what that does. Wow.
Yeah.
So do I think it should be done? I can do it. That's easy. I can do it. Will I ever be given an opportunity, or will I even want an opportunity to do it again is the question.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'd like to see it done. But yeah, so that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Okay. No, that's fine, sir. I appreciate it, man. I just remember you guys, talking about it and just, think of, because I'm kind of like you when it comes to this, even before CHW, always community, being a DJ and everything, and thinking bigger, thinking 3 or 4 years ahead of just that moment I was DJing, like, what if, and start planning in my head, but never really writing nothing down or anything like that. But, now that I am a CHW, things are kind of coming around. There's things that used to be that kind of trying to start, things that could be, but everything's political. we won't even dive into that one. You know what I'm saying?
And Kev, you think about it, man. Kev, we went to DC and presented to people in other states. They were like, wow. They were like, we remember you all talking about this. Now the fact that you're doing it, they were like, that is amazing. That is amazing. I had numerous connections in DC for different things. For that, I had connections in DC, man, to help identify officers that didn't belong on the police department. A method of doing that through VR machines. You know, but guess what? Remember when I said I was on that island? Yeah, I was on that island because people either didn't think about that or they didn't want it because it wasn't their idea.
Yeah, say that.
You know, I could care less whose idea it was.
Yeah,
I'm trying to change lives. You know, I'm trying to affect people that look like me. And so when people show me that didn't care, that people will sink the ship just to be the captain.
Right.
I mean, when they showed me that, I was like, I'm done.
Gotcha.
I'm done.
Right. Hey, but hey, this is boy, and that, like, and for those that don't know, that's a whole nother show. We can go on with that, but hey, the CHW
Right.
work, man, that I know that you do right now is very valuable with the Loyola Academy. So I heard you mention earlier that you were the Dean of Students and Admissions at Loyola Academy, right?
Yep.
Right. So and you were talking about some of the parents and how they my baby my baby
Right.
whatever this and that. So how long have you been at a Dean of Students and Admissions at Loyola?
I've been there for 4 years now. Left the police department amidst turmoil, strife, all kinds of stuff. And God saw fit to pull me out of there and put me somewhere else. I would have never thought that I would have been at an all boys school. I knew I love working with kids. And I knew that I wasn't going to do anything else remotely close to police work because police work didn't appreciate where I was. I don't think. And I always say I miss some of the people. But I don't miss the place.
Right.
I can probably count on 1.5 hands how many people from there I still talk to after 27 years. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a small amount of people.
It is. It's a very small amount of people. The people that did the most harm look just like me.
Right.
That's the sad part about it. And that's cool. I'm a firm believer that whatever's gonna be God's will is God's will. And I'm good with that. I'm really good with that because I'm so much better off right now than where I was.
Yeah. And I had experience kind of like that, where it was my own people. When I first started in the medical field, it made me, my aunt gets on me now, my auntie Wilma, she tell me, if you go ahead and finish those 2 years, you got to get that bachelor's. And I keep, being stubborn. But I remember somebody saying something about me being a hired help. And this was probably like 4 or 5 years into the medical field. And I tell people this story because I said, you have to watch everybody. Everybody doesn't have, just because we look alike don't mean they for you.
You know what that is? Yeah. Hey, all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Exactly. So I said, no one will ever talk to me like that again. And I wanted to, like you, I wanted to grow. I missed, some of the people, not to play. I mean, like you, a handful and a half, maybe, some people, but it taught me to take a better look at myself.
Yeah.
and my identity, and not what I can bring for somebody, but what do I bring for myself?
Right.
You know.
Right.
So,
Kev, you know, man, there are certain people I won't ask or allow to come to my school.
Wow.
Nope. Nope.
Wow.
I,
So,
I don't want to. I don't want to see them on our first day with all the men out there in the crowd.
right.
I don't want to see them on our last day. I don't want them to meet my kids. I don't. There are people that look like me that I do not want my kids to meet them.
Yeah. Right. Right. I'm with. Hey, truth is true. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
once again, uh, we are not kinfolk just because you know what I'm saying. Because you
Right.
could be the biggest backstabber in the world, and you could be right
Yep.
next to it. You know,
Yep.
and we just have to watch. I like what you do there, and especially when we do the welcoming day, man. We've been, you know,
Yeah.
for those that don't know, Loyola Academy, Washington, uh, we did a welcoming day 4 years straight, and to see them parents, man, and those young black men, to see the parents just taking more pictures than us, you know, on the first day, you know, they got, you know, slob coming out their eyes or whatever the case may be, got their
Yeah.
shoes on, but
Kev, you
experience is
recognize
great.
where that comes from?
Mhm.
Think about it for a second. Those parents become very emotional because they're seeing black men step in the gaps for their sons that they never had.
Okay.
You know, black men are showing up for their sons on that very first day that they're sending them off to what they hope is going to be a life-changing experience for them. That's how we kick it off. We we
Right.
we we culturally kick that off from a high point.
Okay. Okay.
You know, from
I
a
just,
high
I
point.
just, I just know I have fun every time we go there. It's like
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't help,
One thing.
you know.
Yeah. One thing about me, Kev, is I subfloor thing, what I call subfloor things. I go up under and I look at the roots. What is this growing? What is this happening? What's the effect that everybody's not seeing on the surface?
Right.
You know, because that helps me kind of to plan my next steps of what I'm going to do next. You know, especially when in school, what are we going to do? What am I going to do that builds capacity within those kids, that builds them up to young men? What am I going to do to help my cohorts understand them better? What am I going to do to help my cohorts be seen in a certain light? How am I going to grow those bonds within the walls of that school? You know,
Right.
I think about stuff that don't nobody think about. You know,
Mhm.
and that's the way that I move. You know,
Okay.
because
Is
it
that
ain't
when you
about.
was talking about when you was talking about catching them upstream?
Yep, yep, yep. I catch them upstream instead of downstream. As a police officer, I call them down here after they've done something wrong or they've gotten with a certain group.
Yeah.
You know, now I catch them before they meet that group, before they have that police interaction,
Mhm.
and I can mitigate. All right, so
Okay.
I'm going through some court terms. You either aggravate, which makes worse because you aggravate me, or you mitigate. You know, and make things better. I can
Right.
mitigate things on the front end to make things better on the back end.
Wow. I had to catch myself, especially when you said mitigate. You said the court thing. I'm like, okay, hold up now.
Right, 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 right.
Got
Yep.
Judge Johnson on here. Hold up.
Right, 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 right.
So
You know that.
with the school and everything, and I know you guys y'all did you did 6th, 7th, and 8th, but now you're doing 4th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade through 8th grade now, right?
Yep, yep. 4th through 8th grade.
How's
Yep.
that going now, man?
It's funny, man. It's actually pretty cool because in our school, the growth from 6 to 8, and you've seen it.
Yeah,
You kept
yeah.
you saw my so my kids that you met on the very first day, the very first time you came, that were 6th graders, are now
Right.
8th graders. And you yourself, as you've seen that grow. You've seen kids
Yeah.
coming there the first day. You're like, doggone, I remember him. He was, yeah, I remember
Yep.
him. Right, right. You know, imagine seeing the mental growth and the
Mm.
maturity also. that kind of stuff. So now we get to see that from 4 to 8. I can't wait to show the video of my kids that were in 4th grade when they get to 8th grade.
Right. Wow.
Yeah,
So
that's.
how do 4 to 8? So how do the kids? For those that's looking and listening, how do the kids get there? What is there? What type of process?
There's an admissions process. Excuse me. Excuse me. There's an admissions process where you reach out to me, P. Johnson at LoyolaAcademy.org, and say, hey, I'm interested in getting my kid in your school. What I need to do. The first thing I'm gonna do is ask you what grade. I'm going to get some information. I'm gonna email you an application and a records request form, and that starts the whole process.
Okay.
I tell people it's a timing thing. If you catch it at the right moment, there's a chance you can get your son in, even if there's a wait list. And I tell some people I have people that contact me that don't follow up after I send them the information. And that's Pete Johnson at there you go. Some people don't follow up and they miss out. And then I've had some people contact me and say, hey, I want to get through the whole process right now. And they do it, and then we have an opening and they get in. It's a timing thing. You gotta stay persistent. And I'm big on relationships. So if somebody contacts me and says, hey, Kevin told me to call you. Well, I know the kind of people that Kevin's gonna deal with. So it ain't gonna be no nonsense. And if it is, I'm gonna call Kevin. And Kevin don't want his reputation tied to no nonsense. So guess what? Kevin's gonna correct this, And so it go, Kevin, and it's funny about that, man, because it goes back to, and I don't want to use the word discipline, but it is disciplining parents also, because I get a lot of young parents of no fault of their own who are trying to figure out how to raise their kids, and sometimes we have to help them with that. Don't do me no good to fix your kid and send him back home to a broken home, and then you mess them all up.
Makes sense. Wow.
So I'm always looking at that. I'm looking at who am I dealing with, parent wise. Kevin, let me tell you something, man. You cannot.
I know it's coming. I know it.
Kevin, you here. All right, to make it simple, you can't define family.
Yeah.
Because everybody's family is different. And I love that. I love that. Everybody's family is different. You can't get into thinking of what you believe is a typical family. Because I got people that are just trying to make it work. And so when I get their son in my school and I tell them, we're going to stick with him until he goes to college. Here's what that means. In 7th grade, we're going to take him to visit numerous high schools. We're going to put him in a private high school, and we're going to help pay for it. So you don't have to worry about that burden. Also, being at our school, you can afford it because it's tuition-based. It's income-based. It's based on your income. So we're going to make that affordable. We're going to make your kid at a private high school affordable. And then we're going to take him on college visits and make sure he gets into college. We're going to get him a job in the summertime. If it boils down to it, to him graduating, not having a job, we're going to help him get a job. But see, the second part of that is we partner with companies that provide internship for our college students that are in college during the summertime, so that when they graduate, if this is in their field, they can get a job right there.
Right.
But at the same time, we're seeking resources. So if I got a parent that doesn't have a job, hey, Ryan, Kev, I got a lady up here need a job. Here's the situation. Here's where she stays. What's going on? Boom, we connect in resources.
Yeah.
So when I say changing lives, that's what I mean by changing lives. We provide, if we can, Christmas for our families that need it. Eye care, health care, ears, eyes, check, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Not only do you go ahead.
So now you understand why I tell parents, when we call, the only thing I want to hear is, what did he do?
Right.
Yep.
I mean, it's, I don't think I've heard, especially you being at that school, I haven't seen nothing like that in a long time. Like, mean, usually like over here we had it's closed now. It's Assumption High School. It's a Catholic school. Actually, where the prison is in Washington Park. You know, across the Big Mama's. Anybody, y'all know about Big Mama's barbecue? That prison right across the street.
Right across the street.
Yeah, it used to be Assumption High School.
Right where that prison is.
Exactly.
Yep. That detention facility. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Man, and to hear, you know, when I first learned about what you guys are doing and how the process is, I was like, for real? Like, no. All I gotta do is make it right on Washington right here, and then got right in the back of what's the school? Is it
Cardinal Ritter?
Cardinal Ritter. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, they do all of this. I mean, it's I could say not enough about Loyola Academy, man. You guys have welcomed us black men period, especially on welcoming day for just you know, the last 4 years. It's just been great for me. The great experience meeting other guys from other organizations, not only nonprofits, but you know, just business people. You know, and you know, once again, the welcoming day is every year. First day of school. It's like, man, not just CHWs. I'm talking about all the one alderman guy, the police, the fireman, the carpenter. You know, basically to just for the black men, the young black men to see to see themselves. In other words, you can do this too. You know, so wow. I don't know what else to say about Loyola. I can't wait for the next. I can't wait for the next day. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Kev, you know what's funny, man, is they come around so fast. You blink and that year is gone. Yeah. You know what's really been cool, man, is I've been able to plug so many people into Loyola. So many. I give you an example. So I drive a Jeep. I'm part of a Jeep club. Last year, our Jeep club partnered with us on what we call our Lads to Grads event. It's where our 8th graders announce where they're going to high school. And we did a whole video of them riding in on the Jeeps and stuff. And it was really cool, man. Really cool. And you know what, man, I got to get y'all. You know, my brother-in-law did the video for the first day this year.
Yeah.
I have it on the thumb drive. It's 24 minutes long, man.
Wow. See, you're going to have to get us on there, man. You know I want to get it.
Yeah, man. You know, and I want y'all, man, and you know, Ryan, my dude, man, but Ryan bailed on me, man. He when it comes with it, and I'm always messing with him about it. And you know what? I ain't even mad at him because I know if Ryan ain't with me, he's helping somebody, you know. So I get it. But I want all y'all to come out to our basketball games this year, you know, and support our teams and stuff like that, man. It's we got 2 gentlemen, you know, my age and older in the building, our facilities directors. And man, when you talk about black men connecting with kids, we got about 8 black men in our building. We all connect with kids at different intersections, man. And our facilities directors, man, they show up at all my basketball games. And they in the front row like, yeah, let's go, you know.
Right.
And man, that is so heartwarming because they don't have to. You know, they don't have to. But you know, man, they show up and they show out, man. You know, and it's
like a high school game.
Yeah. Because you know, and we haven't had any problems, man. But we go into environments where there ain't nobody that looks like us, and so you know, it's always good to be able to look over there and see, you know, people you know and trust, and that are there supporting you and they're supporting our kids.
That's good, man. Oh, I'm gonna try. I mean, you know, schedule. We know, and you know, life happens, schedules.
You know what, Kevin? Kevin, you know what, Kevin?
Yeah.
We got 6 teams, all right, and all of them are going to play a minimum of 10 games. All right, you got 60 opportunities. All right, at least. So here, I'm gonna hold on. I'm here, and out of those 6 teams, 4 of them will have at least 4 home games. All right. So now you got got 16 opportunities at Loyola where you already know the place. I just got to give you the date and time. And on top of that, they all back to back, so you get a chance to see everybody play. Now,
me and Perri go way back.
Right now, Kev, if you and Ryan, okay, don't make it to any of those, I'm going to send you a video of all the kids asking y'all why y'all didn't make it. Come and see them. I'm gonna tell them y'all claim y'all. I'm gonna have a kid say y'all claim y'all love us and y'all about the community, but we ain't never see y'all in our stands. And Mr. Ryan, didn't you used to coach with us? What's wrong? You don't love us no more. The love done gone bad, Mr. Ryan.
It's really good, boy. He should. If he up, he gonna be texting one of us or both of us.
Right. Hey, tell Ryan, I got a spot for him on my bench. Just in memory, I put a little hat there and everything. You know, I don't let nobody sit in that spot.
They got a reserve spot on the bleachers, dude.
Right. Exactly, man. Exactly.
Not a chair, but on the bleachers.
On the bleachers, man. On the bleachers.
Brian, if you listening, you better tap in because we get you. Oh man. Hey man, I'm loving what you're doing, man. I'm loving what you're doing. You know, the transition from, just being, and I say community cop because you was part of community to doing this work. And once again, y'all, it ain't got to be credential, non-credential. People who just doing work in the community. And the title of this episode is "The Mission is Possible." It's possible.
It is.
No matter where you are in life, it's possible, man. It's possible.
Hey, plug in and do your part.
That's all we ask. I mean, if you see the need, and like you said, I like how you said that because I've heard that before. I think I may have heard it from Ryan. The need, even not being, and you're not a community health worker, but you saw, you being a community guy, you saw the need, and that's the part that stands out for me.
Yeah. Kev, when you down with the community, you connect, you parallel with those that are also, and you try to figure out how can we utilize each other. And like I said, Kevin, man, given the resources, I could implement that program. I could. I could implement. You give me 6 months, I could put that program in.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's. I love pilots. Don't get me wrong. I love pilots, but I like to see when we do a pilot that it's sustained.
Yep,
if that makes sense. Because a lot of pilots that we do, and they don't last. Sometimes they don't last.
Yeah, man. I hate to keep talking about it. We had the data. We had people plugged in, inputting the data, pulling out the necessary information. We were looking at everything. Yeah. Everything. It was something that it would have been self-sufficient. It would have ran on its own because you're constantly having CHWs. You're constantly, police work doesn't stop. You got two things that are going to be connected that are going to keep going. And that's what was possible. But hey, it just wasn't meant to be.
Right. Got you. Yep. So we winding down here, man, to the to the last little something. Man, I'm gonna let you give a little final thought on everything, tonight. I will put your now for your little academy. Any final thoughts?
Man, Kev, I'll tell anybody my journey if you ask. My journey has brought me to a really unique place, and it's brought me around, man. It brought me to some good people that I needed. And when I say that, you and I briefly talked about that. Before I went through what I went through, I met Ryan and Sierra and Phil and all those folks. And when I went through what I went through, those folks stuck by me.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the people that they stuck by me more than some people that I had known much longer than that. And those were the people that could see what my potential was and what I wanted to do and understood what I was trying to do. And they quickly realized you need to go from there. You need to leave. I remember the conversation me and Ryan had just like it was yesterday. He asked me, "What are you waiting on?" I couldn't tell him. I'm afraid to leave because I don't know what I'm going to do. And when I left and God closed that door, my true friends were on the other side of that door. They're like, all right, cool, let's roll. Let's go. Ryan called me up and got me out of the house when I was at my lowest point. Growing up, here's something you can coin, man. Growing up, my friends and I would talk about having the Browns. People are like, what the hell is the Browns? You heard of somebody having the Blues? When they got the Blue, I got the Blue, right? Well, the Browns is about 2 steps lower than the Blues.
That's good.
So, when you got the Browns, man, you down low, man. You down low. Yeah. And so Ryan called me, man, when I had the Browns, man, and he wasn't hearing it. He's like, come on, you need to get out. I got some stuff for you to do. And what was really cool, man, was Ryan and Dr. LJ Punch, really helped me. I started working for Dr. Punch. He put me on. I started working, but it was cool. I was getting out in the community, and because we had masks on, nobody knew who I was.
Okay.
So I still was able to do community work, and nobody knew it was me. And nobody knew it was me. And so I can remember going out with Nick McDowell, who is the director of grad support. He's the one that follows our kids from high school, from 8th grade to college. I can remember going out working with him one day on Dr. Punch's truck, and we started talking about Loyola. Little did I know he was going to go back and say, hey, I know somebody who's good for this position we're looking for. So now let's run it back here real quick. Had I not met Ryan and did the things I did with Ryan wouldn't have known what my heart was, to believe enough in me to call me at my lowest point, to get me out of my house so I could go do something, so I could meet Nick McDowell, who would in turn turn me on to Loyola, who in turn would hire me to do what I'm doing now. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah. Shout out to big bro Ryan. Yeah. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. He is the dude. He is our dude.
Right. Kev, I just believe in giving credit where credit is due. And I know that, without God, none of this is possible. But Ryan and Candace Cox picked me up when I couldn't pick myself up.
Right.
And when your whole world is shattered, because people didn't want you to do what you were doing, and you felt like all you were trying to do was help. And you have people be like, no, we see the greater good. We see the bigger picture. You can only see this, and I could, man. I can only see that. So therefore, I couldn't see what I was going to do beyond that. So that's my final thoughts, man. Kev, as long as I'm breathing, I'm working with kids and families, and every day I go into my job, I found a reason to laugh. Every single day I found a reason to laugh.
Right.
Man, is that stuff that keeps me going, man. I'll be in there tomorrow morning at 8:30. By 9 o'clock, I'll be laughing at somebody. One of my kids, text me and say, what you laugh at today? And I'll be able to tell you, man, this is what happened today, man. This dude, stuff like that, man.
And I get to work at 7.
Man,
definitely gonna hit you up at 9 and say, bro.
Man, somebody gonna come in and be like, Lord Jesus, what did you do? Dress in the dark? What's wrong with you, man? You know, my little kids, I love them to death, man. I be like, look, dude, I got a big bottle of lotion. Go ahead on in there. Matter of fact, no, you need some 30 weight on them elbows. I see you about to start a fire, man. Hey, but I tell you what, Kev, by the time they leave 8th grade, they're gonna be right. They're gonna be right, you know, in all kind of ways. They're gonna be right, you know.
You say in all kind of ways, they're gonna be right. Though.
All kind of ways, they're gonna be right, Kev. They're gonna be right. I'm telling you, I ain't letting them out the door with not being right, Kev. I'm not
right.
You know, I'm not, man. You know, and that's the fun part.
I have had some fun. Well, I knew I was going. Well, you know already. If y'all think I'm King Perri, it's good.
Kev, you know it don't take much to activate me, man.
It don't. When it's a long clock here, you wake up here just like me.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I'm gonna leave you with this story, man. That's gonna send you off their shockwaves. So, you know, my kids, like, you know, they don't understand joning and stuff like that, you know. And I'm old school, man. I'll hit you low in a minute, right? So,
right.
So one of the kids will come around one day, Mr. Johnson, man, you old, man. You old, Mr. Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah, you know how old I am? How old? I told him I'm 57. Yeah, oh, man, you old, Mr. Johnson. I said, yeah. I'm old enough that I probably dated your grandma. He was like, oh, that ain't funny. I said, who's your pop? Who, you know who your pop is?
Boy, it might be your pump. You better be quiet.
Right. Hey, he wasn't laughing no more, Kev. I laughed all the way down the hallway. I said, wait a minute, we was laughing and joking, having fun. Now you're not laughing. What's wrong? And, hey, Kev, then I had to come back. Hey, so I had to get that 2 for 1, right? So later on, I came back in class, right? I said, hey, who picking you up today? Granny picking you up? Oh, Mr. Johnson, man, that ain't cool.
Oh, man, I should have been. Oh, I should have been. Oh, man. Hey, Mr. Perri, bro, thank you for being a part of the podcast this evening. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed themselves. One more thing about the Spirit and the Loyola Academy. Here is the email: pjohnson at loyolaacademy.org.
Yeah,
like 4th grade to 8th grade. You heard all the good stuff. Anything with that right there?
Oh yeah, Kev. Kev, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this, man. I really appreciate you. You know, you've been down since day one, man. Since the first day I met you, you've always hit it off. And Kevin, you make that first day work. Can't nobody else stand out there and do what you do. You know, they can't, man. And Kev, you part of you hit them parents right away, and you make them feel good. Not just about themselves, but about the decision that they made to send them kids there. You're actually, think about this for a second, man. You are our unofficial first touch point. You know, which is cool, man. Please keep doing it, man. Please keep doing it.
Hey, one more thing before I hit this outro. Look, Ryan gonna text me. He say put me on blast. we knew you was gonna text us, dude.
Yeah.
Or Perri or both of us.
Yeah. Hey, watch this, kid. Hey, Ryan, we practice Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:30, 7:30. I'm just throwing it out. Yeah. Tuesdays and Thursdays, man. Come on in, man. Just you welcome. Come on in, man.
All right, y'all. Thanks for everybody for watching and listening. Power CoHort 18, Kevin Kev, Mr. Perri. We are out. Watch this outro. See y'all next time. What's up, y'all? It's your man once again, Kevin Care, host of our CoHort 18 podcast. One more thing, one more shout out. Shout out to Mr. Perri Johnson, Dean of Students and Admissions at Loyola Academy. Shouts out to all CHWs out there doing work. And once again, we bring this broadcast to you, CoHort 18, for CHWs who are credentialed, who are non-credential, and those who identify as community health workers who are doing service in their community. And once again, for Mr. Perri, if you have a child, young black man, that would love a great education and have some fun, y'all need to check out Loyola Academy. Loyola Academy, South Washington in St. Louis, right behind Carter River. And Perri Johnson's email is right on the screen. pjohnson@loyolaacademy.org. All questions, all concerns about the school, I'm telling you, it's beautiful. I've seen some young black men go from 6th grade to 8th grade. Now, this is before they had the 4th grade. Now they have 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Wow. Young black men, young black kings that's ready for the world. Shouts out once again to my man, Mr. Perri. Shouts out to Brian. Shouts out to the coalition, CHW Coalition, and all friends and families that's listening and looking. 18, baby. Y'all have a good one.